Welcome back, everyone. Going into the final hour here of week 6, hour number 4 of Court of Swords. Stripping that thing that was at the door was lights for the live show, and also Strippin's dress, which looks lovely.
Nice. He's gonna be such a pretty princess.
Yeah, we also ordered him a bra that gets here tomorrow, and then the wig, which might already be here. I forget.
Is it a nice wig?
It was about a $90 wig, so it better be. Yeah.
Only the best for
That's
pretty
fair.
princess Sam.
Yeah, only the best for stripping. So that'll all be, of course, for the Bounce Power Light Show on the 17th. But anyways, that's then. This is now. What's going on, Adam?
So it's nighttime, and we see Zafira in the garden where the page is resting, and instead of the kind of harsh sunlight casting beams through the sort of mist onto the ground, we have this faint sort of silvery glow to everything. There are still strange shadows cast from the Baroque woodwork above, from the lattice above you. But the place has taken on a different vibe, right? You can hear the frogs croaking in the pond, the ones that are still alive that didn't get eaten by the bird. And there's insects, and it's a little bit more of like a jungle kind of feel now. And you can see with the silvery light, you can see the page lying on the bed. And Zafira, there's also a servant here. The servant has been replaced for sort of a night shift one, and the servant is standing respectfully by the door, ready to act if anyone needs anything. And when the page begins to moan softly, the servant approaches the page's little divan. Are you going to get up too, or?
Yeah, I think I stand up, but I watch from a distance rather than up close.
Okay, so the servant comes over, gives the page some water. The page is groaning, seemingly in pain for sort of the first time. It's actually like a little bit louder, and you can see a pale hand clutching at the servant's like frock. And the servant looks over her shoulder at you nervously, like something is wrong. Should I go and get someone? What do I do?
Yeah, I'd say, has he done this before?
She shakes her head, obviously afraid.
Paige, can you hear my words? I kind of walk over to the table as I say that.
Yeah, so the page's voice goes from a kind of low moan to like a hiss, and as you get closer, their back like arches, like they're in pain, like they have like a really bad like muscle cramp or something. So their back arches, their pelvis lifts up off of the divan, and they're twitching slightly, and kind of like reaching out with a pale hand towards something, like grasping at darkness above them.
Yeah, I turn and say, "Go and fetch the queen at once. Say the magistrate requests an audience, please, with in the page's quarters."
Okay. Yeah. So the servant turns to flee, and the page like turns and like reaches for you to try to like, I don't know, something like trying to grab for you. Are you close enough for them to touch you?
Yeah. I think
Loaded questions, I know, but
I think yes, but I'm in a position to where I could hopefully push down on his shoulders and overpower him when he goes to grab me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly how many feet in 5-foot increments away are you standing?
And I say, Paige, your words, use them. If you have any dying breaths or wishes, this is your time.
So the page tries to speak again, but their voice is muffled by something. It's like as if they're speaking through a cloth, or their like mouth is full of cotton or something. You can't see their face. They have the veil hanging over their face right now.
Yeah, I remove the veil.
Okay, when you pull the veil away, their eyes are like almost rolled completely back in their head, and you can see their cheeks are a little distended. And there's like something in their mouth. Like you can see like a leaf or something sticking out between their lips.
A leaf?
Yeah, like just the tip of like a leaf sticking out between their lips. And they're like trying to talk, but their mouth is like jammed. There's got some kind of plant or something in there.
I know that's probably some sort of poison, but I don't know if Zafira would know that or think that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they might be suffocating too.
That might be I think I just like grab their jaw and like try to make their mouth, like form their mouth open with my jaw to see if I can like pull that out.
Hold their mouth open, like hold their jaw. Okay, so they twitch like hard, and kick a few times, and they actually are quite strong. Like this, they look frail and feel like kind of weightless in your arms, but there's a strength there. And then they like lash out with one arm underneath you, knock over the table. There's a loud metallic crash as the plate falls to the ground, and you manage to get their mouth open. And when you do, their teeth separate, and inside there's this like round kind of like greenish bud that like fills up their mouth. And when you open their mouth, it starts to like blossom. So happening much more quickly than it would in nature. It looks like a time lapse photograph. It kind of like emerges from the page's mouth and opens, and inside the gold, the green leaves is this golden like lotus flower that just like unfolds in front of the page's face. And it's not just like yellow, it's like actually gold. Like it's literally like shiny, like metallic gold. And it opens up, and there's the little like kind of pod in the middle with all the little holes. And the page like kicks a couple of times, grabs at your robes, obviously in pain, sort of like gurgling through this like vine that's like down in its in their throat. And then what are you going to do, I guess, is the question here.
Well, my understanding is that he's perhaps choking on this. So can I perhaps pull this out? Like, also, is there some, like, I want to pull this out, but I don't want to touch it with my hands. I want to use something to put in between my hand and whatever I'm pulling. So maybe I just take his veil or a
I mean, I think you have gloves, right? You're a swordsman. You would have like gloves in your belt or something you could use.
Okay, yeah, I put a glove on real quick and just like not rip, but slowly actually try to pull it out so I don't mess up anything inside.
So when you reach for it, I think before you touch it, the petals of the lotus begin to blacken. They seem to rust as you look at them, and they turn black from the tips to the edge. And you still want to grab it and try to pull it loose.
Yeah, or at least pull and see if it comes loose.
Yeah, so you like get your fingers under the like blossom, and when you go to pull it, the whole thing just like crumbles to ash in your hand, like little flakes of black ash.
Yeah.
And the little pod like crumbles away, and inside there's a like a pitted black stone about yay big, around, vaguely oval shaped. And as the ash blows away, the page goes still, like deathly still, like just falls still. Their arm kind of drops limp, and the stone begins to hiss, and a black fog starts to pour off of it.
Is this an open air room?
Yeah, you're in a big like 50 by 80 kind of like chamber. There's a pond in the middle.
Fuck. He's dead. He's lifeless.
You can't tell. He's totally. They're totally still, just lying there, arms hanging free, eyes rolled back in their head.
You tell me.
And fog is like pouring from your hand onto the floor. Like it's heavier than air, so it's like pooling around your feet.
How quickly could I cut his head off and get out of the room and shut the door?
You would have to drop the thing, draw your sword. You could maybe take their head off in one swing and then turn for the. It's not nothing. You can do it fast because you're a soldier, but.
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
And if not, and I don't have to breathe, so I just stop breathing.
Number one.
Yeah, number one, I don't breathe that fucking air.
Take one last clean breath. Yeah. And the smoke or whatever is like quite granular. Like there's bits of like black kind of like spore floating in it. Anyway, so you drop the thing, you turn, pull your sword out, and I think we're looking at you as you draw your sword, and we see behind you this human-shaped fog kind of like emerge behind you, and two white kind of embers begin to glow in the head-shaped mass. And it reaches for you with this these meter-long bending black fingers of fog. And you sense, before anything else, you sense danger behind you. So it's not going to like sneak attack you or anything, but there's this creature that's this fog creature.
And this is before I actually cut his head off?
Yeah, you've drawn the sword, and we see the thing like start to like wrap its fingers around you.
I want to go to the other side of the table and then attempt to cut the thing's head off, or cut the page's head off.
So if you try to just like run for it, it'll get to attack you, basically.
So I'd have to disengage for it not to?
Yeah.
I definitely want to disengage. My life is more important than this.
Okay.
Than cutting that guy's head off. So I'll disengage and perhaps just leave the room.
Okay, sure.
Is the
So
room
you,
is the door where I could close it, or is it an open air door?
yeah, there are like sort of privacy doors. It's not going to withstand any kind of like physical effort to break it
Okay,
open. Though.
I disengage out of the room. Is the smoke still growing, or did it stop and form whenever it
No,
formed?
so it's gonna follow you, and it's faster than you are. So you disengage and you want to run for the door. Like you stop when you get to the door, right? Because you have to pull it open. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I stop when I
Okay.
get to the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So you disengage, like you turn, run for the door, and the thing just sort of like floats towards you, arms outstretched, hissing in this sort of like smoggy, and it's got this long like trailing tail that goes back to the black stone that's just
Right.
like pouring more of it out. And then now you've got the door behind you, or I guess in front of you, and the thing behind you, and it's like right up on you again.
And this is can I disengage again? Like, what are the actions here?
There's really like there isn't any. You could run. You can keep running around the room if you want.
There's no one
but
else in this room, right?
There's no one else in the room. No.
I mean, I can't slash it. I guess I slash at this thing.
You try and attack it? Yeah,
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, the soldier's thought would be, well, I can't run away. Let's try to attack it. So yeah, I slash at the head of this thing
Okay.
while also retreating at the same time. Do you want me to make a roll for this?
Yeah, roll to attack it.
18.
Okay, yeah. So you lash out with your sword, slash through, roll your damage.
5.
Okay, all right. So
And if I
you
can,
have your
as a
sword.
bonus action, I want to like, as soon as I see that I can't actually hit this, like I fucking start raging.
Yeah, so
I
you
can.
draw your sword, you slash through it, and the fog and spores kind of like drift as your blade passes through, and there's a malevolent sort of sense you feel. Like it doesn't make a noise, but you can feel its displeasure at your daring to attack it, and it bears down on you with claws. You can respond if you still have your turn, the rest of your turn, so you can bonus action to rage if you want.
Yeah,
to.
I want a bonus action rage at this particular moment in time.
And so you feel the winds of your fury like building up inside you as the thing begins to sort of probe at you with its fingers. It like wraps its claw around you and kind of like reaches for your face. And let's see what happens. All right, so it hits you.
Jesus.
You take 9 necrotic damage.
Is that halved?
No, it is not.
Okay.
And your strength drops by 2. So the thing wraps its like claws around you, and its baleful eyes just kind of like burrow into you, and you can feel yourself like growing cold and distant from your own body. Like you have like pins and needles at first, and then you can feel yourself kind of going numb.
Where do I reflect that my strength is 2 now? Do I just change that on my character sheet?
You can just change it on the sheet, yeah,
Okay.
and note of how many it went down.
Gotcha.
Sucks.
Current 25, and I took 9, so I'm at 14. No, 16. 16. Okay. My turn.
Yeah.
Did it seem like whatever I did hurt the thing? Like I can't
in
tell.
so
Like
much-
what happened when I sliced it with the sword? Did the wind carry through? Did it actually like slice through the wind?
I mean, maybe you can make. I'll let you make an Arcana check to see if you can tell, because you're used
Okay.
to fighting things that are made out of flesh and bone. So
4.
you have no fucking clue whether you hurt this thing or not.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I start to get out as fast as possible, and hopefully that I've been in here all day, and being that a soldier, I know the fastest way out of here.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Again, the thing is like running away. This thing is, if it pursues you, it's faster than you are, right? It's got a higher movement rate, and even at your full speed, it'll be able to follow you.
Right.
Right now, the situation is such that you have your back to the door. You're in a rage. It's right in front of you. You can use an action to open the door and then flee, but again, it'll get a free shot on you as you pull free of its tendrils. If you want to escape out the door,
Yeah.
you can also disengage and run for another part of the room, but it'll just.
No,
come
I
after
want to.
you.
I want to get outside the door. I want to run for the door and try to leave the room.
Okay. All right. So the door and trying to get away. So it'll get one more grab at you as you flee.
All right.
So let's see how that goes. Okay. All right. So it got an 11. So it doesn't manage to get you on this one. And yeah, you pull away, and you can feel like its tendrils. They're sort of through you. Like you can see its fingers go into your arm and then come out under your ribs, and sort of got its hands inside you. And as you bash the door and pull free, it sort of pulls part of you away. You feel like you're like rending something, pulling out a fish hook or something.
Right.
You stagger out into the hallway. I think you sort of stumble and crash into a like an urn that gets knocked over, and there's you can see there's a servant at the far end of the hall who's like sees you and is like running to your aid. They heard the noise.
Yeah, when the servant sees me, I say, "Get out of this building now. Run. Do not wait. Tell everyone to flee immediately."
Okay.
And I'm
right.
still running at them full blast.
Okay, so you run. The servant is just like startled, and all your shouting and everything. A door across from the garden opens up, and like a sort of sleepy looking courtier, he comes out as if to be like kind of an angry look on his face, like why is there's all this shouting? So he comes out, and he looks up, and the shadow thing just sort of falls onto him. And let's see. All right, he's able to resist it for now, but you can see this thing. Like he falls to the ground, he starts to scream, and then the sound of his voice just gets swallowed up by the shadow creature that's on top of him, just draining his life force. But the creature is distracted enough for you to flee.
Yeah, I flee, and I'm heading towards the end because that's where I believe the other two to be.
Yeah, where are you headed? Like, where do you want to go?
The inn is where I'm headed.
Oh, you're just gonna like leave the palace altogether?
Yeah, well, I said the fucking. Do I? Is my understanding of the palace grounds that the queen would be on my way out, or is that in a different?
You don't know where the king and queen's chambers are. You only know where the audience chamber is.
I look at the servant and say, "Where's the queen's chambers?"
Let's see if the servant can get their shit together enough to answer you. They're terrified. They're like too scared to even scream at the horrifying thing that they're watching absorb this noble. So no, they just like blubber. They can't even speak.
Okay, then
they're just like they're clinging to you like a drowning person. In fact, like they've got their hands like in the seams of your armor, and they're just like clinging to you, like desperately taking gulping breaths of air.
Right.
And putting you between them and the shadow.
Right. Okay. I'll grab that person and then just start to run. And I guess like as I grab them, I noticed that it's actually a lot harder for me to carry this person. But I at least
you definitely feel
I want to get them out of harm's way.
Okay. Yeah. So you just like lift them up and start to run for it. Let's see if the courtier. Okay, so the courtier is still. He's got some will, and the thing is still consuming him. So he's like shriveling under its gaze, but hasn't died yet.
Thinking that he would be. How far away is that from me?
One turn of full movement from the door, so 60 feet.
Hold on. Whoops! I didn't mean to click that. I wanted to look at the range.
Okay.
That's the max range.
Yeah, it's right at max range, so you could still throw an axe at it if you wanted to.
I want to throw an axe at the person's. Well, I wouldn't know that. That's too. No, I just fucking run. I just run.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna throw it at the person, but it's because I know things about what. Yeah. So I just fucking run.
So you book it. I think the last thing that we see is this courtier, his dressing gown fallen open, his bones clearly like obvious as his skin like withers and shrinks against his skeleton, and his panicked eyes as the shadow absorbs him. And you flee, and we see the palace limned by moonlight as you disappear into the night.
And
go
ahead.
So you're just going straight for the inn?
Yeah, once I get far enough away, does the guy calm down at all? The servant?
No, hell no. No, he's just like just shaking and panic. He's totally in shock.
Okay. Eventually I set him down and I basically just shake him to see if he responds to that.
Okay. Make a strength check. Because you're gonna have to try to take time to pry him off of you.
Right.
He only got a 5, so.
How do you actually roll strength again? We had this issue last time where I'm done.
Yeah, it's okay. It's on your sheet. It's just the leftmost strength. It's the word strength.
Oh, it's the word strength.
Top
Right.
left corner, yeah, word strength.
7.
Okay, so just barely, you're just barely stronger than this panic strength peasant, and you pull the servant off, and now he's just like clutching himself, just like white with fear, like shaking and like mumbling about like the shadows. Oh God, what happened? Gods. And and you're out on like the front steps, I guess, of the palace.
Yeah, something like that. I say, servant, do you hear what I am saying?
And he kind of like looks up at you, just like wide-eyed and shaking.
You
It's
are
your
being
own
tested
reflection.
I look him directly in the eye and like grab him by his shoulders and say, you are being tested right now by the gods. Do you wish to respond?
He just is like trembling, like he's not even there. He's gone to his happy place.
I slap him just to try to get him to snap back.
Sure. That gets him back, and his head snaps to one side. He like blinks hard, tears well up in his eyes, and he looks at you, and he's like, "By all the arcana, what was that thing?"
I need you to focus right now. Can you do that?
I will try.
Where is the queen's room from here? From this very moment, where do I go?
He just points shakily at the palace. He's like, inside.
I know it's in the palace. I need to know what room it is in. I believe everyone is in danger.
He nods. He says, the east wing, that way.
Can you do me a favor? I need you to focus on this. It's very important.
Gives you a look like, what is it? Oh God, don't make me go back in there, please.
Go to the inn and find the other magistrates and tell them to come immediately.
Okay. Yeah. So before you even say, like, he was waiting for you to like come back inside with me and show me where it is. And when you're like, go to the inn, he just gets up and fucking runs for it.
Yeah. As he's running, I'm like, tell my story.
All right. So he runs for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I start making my way towards hastily, almost, I guess like running. I start running towards the eastern side.
Okay, so you're gonna run back inside. So this is you go back into the palace, and it's in that initial phase where everyone knows something horrible is going on, like something bad is happening. But it's like when there's a fire in an apartment building, people are like poking their heads out and like, what's the noise? What's everybody shouting about? What's happening?
Yeah. The second I see anyone, I say, shut your doors and stay inside, please. Everything is under control.
Yeah, I think most of them do.
Everything is under control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you book it for where you think for the east wing, and where you think the king and queen's chambers are.
Yeah.
So the town's not large, and this guy's running with panic speed. So in the inn, it's, I don't know, like probably 1 a.m. Baron and Velmir, are you both asleep?
What is it? 1 a.m?
It's like 1 a.m. give or take. Yeah.
No, I'm awake because I'm trying to keep an eye out for the other traveler that was around, see if he's by the inn or if I saw him in the streets peering outside of the inn and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we were both awake because we were kind of planning on trying to spy on this guy, but
Yeah,
we see the
Baron's
guy barge in.
Sure. Yeah. You haven't seen the traveler yet, but yeah, the door slams open, and you're the only ones in the inn at this point because there's not a lot of travel going on. And yeah, the door slams open. There's this like horrified looking, like pale servant, and he looks at both of you and stammers something. He's like, "Shadows, she said to come, and they, oh gods!" And he like falls to his knees.
Calm down. What are you trying to say? Focus on your speech.
Yeah,
Who sent you?
When you come over, he grabs you by the like lapels and like pulls himself up to you and stares you in the face. And he's like, it came from within. I don't. Oh God! And you can see his eyes fluttering a little, like he's gonna hyperventilate and pass out.
I just kind of smack him a little bit to focus on one last time.
He's already got a red like handprint on his face. He's
God damn it, man!
lay another one on
I'm
him.
just trying to get a direction out of him, like where?
And he points behind him and he's like, the palace.
All right, Baron, let's go.
Shadow in the palace. Okay, let's go. Something must be wrong. So we
right,
both
we make
brought
our
it
field.
as fast as we can to the palace.
Make haste.
Okay, so you run for the palace. So Zafira, enough of an alarm has been raised that when you get to the king and queen's chamber, it is guarded. There are two stout armored guards holding spears, like blocking the door when you arrive.
Yeah.
They acknowledge your presence with their eyes, but say and do nothing but stand.
Yeah.
firm.
When I reach the door, I say, "Get out of the way. I need to speak with the queen immediately."
They hesitate.
The page is dead. Open the fucking doors.
Make an intimidation check.
8.
Okay, no, they stand firm. They got to protect the king and queen.
Do you wish me to draw my blade?
You see one of them, like the muscle under their eye, like twitch a little bit. Like, okay, we're gonna have to do this thing. And yeah, they're like, no, that's what they're here for, right? Like somebody's trying to get into the king. Maybe you're the one. Maybe you killed a bunch of people. They don't know.
When I say that and I see them respond in a way that's like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
I respond. I just start screaming and say, "Queen, king, if you hear me, this is Zafira. The page is dead. I demand an audience at this moment. Your life depends on it."
Okay, so they kind of like look at each other like, this has got to be a trick, right? No, you're not getting in here. I'm a guard. I'm gonna guard this door. So they give you like this stony face, and then the door opens a crack, and you see the king, and she opens the door and like pushes the like spear aside, and she looks at you, and she's wearing a nightgown basically. And she looks at you like, what's going on? She's a little confused. She was obviously asleep.
I am sorry to intrude and awaken you, but you must get out of this palace right now.
And go where?
I do not know, but your life is at risk. Something has taken over the page. I have fought it. I cannot defeat it alone, but you need to get out of here.
She kind of gives you this like just like sneer and closes the door, and then you hear like a noise, like a rattling or something, and then she opens the door again, and you can see her. She's still in her nightgown, hair down, like looking a little sleepy, but she's holding a sword and a scabbard, and she pulls the scabbard off the sword, throws the scabbard on the ground, and looks at you like, where is it? What's going on?
You cannot defeat this thing. It cannot be hit by simple weapons.
She scowls at you and she says, she looks at you and says, let me be the judge of that.
I can only tell you what I know, but if you wish to see this thing with your own eyes, it is surely a fool's errand. Where's the king? Or the queen, I mean.
So the queen, I think you hear from the room, the queen, he says, he's like, what's going on? And he sounds like super sleepy, like he's waking up too.
I say, Queen, please wake up. Your lives are at stake. Take these guards and flee from this. Please, please talk to the king and get some sense knocked into her.
Make a persuasion check.
Jesus. 17.
Okay. So she looks at you, and when you address the queen, and you're like, you have to get to safety. The queen or the king looks over at the queen, and she says, she's like, Chaya, get dressed. We're going. And then turns to look at you, and she says, I'm going to get him to safety.
Good. I am going to go try and deal with this fiend. I do not know what it is.
She kind of like quirks an eyebrow, and she's like, well, I suggest you'd better find out quick.
I as she's saying that, I'm already like leaving.
Good, yeah.
I was about to say something I shouldn't have, but yeah. I just start running, yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. So you head out, and you can hear her like telling him like, hurry up, get dressed. We're leaving. And they have some other way out of the palace that they're going to use. So where do you go after that, Zafira?
After that, I return to the front. I basically just like leave the palace again because now I'm going to the inn to collect my friends.
So Zafira, Velimir, and Baron, you all collide basically at the front of the palace. Velimir, you and Baron arrive, and you see Zafira come out onto the steps. And as you arrive, you hear somewhere in the palace, you hear someone scream loudly, and then their scream gets cut off.
I turn and say, I've got good news and bad news. The good news, the page is dead. The bad news is something else is alive.
What is it? What'd you see?
You need to see it with your own eyes. I cannot do it the service of describing it. Follow.
All right, then. Do we know where that scream came from?
Somewhere in the palace grounds. You have a general idea, yeah.
So I think we should head towards it. The sound we just heard.
I agree. Be careful of this monster hitting you. I do not know how to explain this, but I feel I had trouble carrying someone earlier today. That does not happen. That man that I believe found you at the end. At the end, rather. And then, as I'm saying this, I'm like in stride to where we think we heard the noise.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you head in the direction of the noise, and there's obvious like evidence of chaos. For the most part, people are staying in their room. Someone somewhere in the palace grounds is like ringing an alarm bell. So there's this kind of like regular like pong 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 of like a bell ringing, and you can see maybe as you come in like a bunch of guards headed towards the king and queen's chamber. But you take a turn.
Can I stop those guards?
Yeah, you could like grab one of them as they go by. They're in a big hurry to get to the king and queen.
Yeah, I grab one of the guards and say, "The king and queen are safe. I had made sure of it. Come with us."
The guard shakes his head. He's like, "No, orders from Commander Vissal. We have to protect the royals."
Are you defying a magistrate?
He kind of like looks around and looks at you, and you can see him make a decision. And he like nods. He's like, "I am magistrate."
I just kind of like turn my head and say, "All right."
Wow. Gotta respect him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
we start heading toward the noise.
Yeah, so they head off. You come around the corner, and maybe you're expecting to see like a body or something, but the whole hallway is just like a charnel scene. There's bits and pieces of several bodies, like arm. You come around the corner. There's an arm lying on the ground. There's someone. Looks like they died crawling away. There's a big long like streak of blood. They have one arm. There's like several like splashes of blood, but all the blood is frozen. You can see it like sparkling even in the heat. And so you would guess, Zafira, there's probably like 4 or 5 people that died here. And all of the bodies are like weirdly like desiccated and like frozen.
The creature did this. He did not... I do not know where he is, though. Perhaps we should go to the page's room. I want to see if that body is still there.
Okay, we need to be very careful. This thing could be anywhere.
I agree. I will lead. Stay behind me. If you see anything out of the ordinary, please.
What does this thing even look like? You told us nothing, really.
It looks like the wind. It is very, very scary. Please. I do not even know if I can harm it. Or if any of us can harm it.
You heard, Ben. Look out for something very scary.
Okay.
You will see it, and you will know it.
You said you swung at it and you couldn't tell if you even heard it.
I have no idea if it was dealt any harm.
Then we should rely on spells instead of weapons if we can.
Well, that is on you. I will simply guard you. I will not engage this thing.
It sounds like something from the undead.
May temperance be with us.
Velimir, perhaps fire will do damage to this.
This is what I am thinking.
I grab it. Are there torches lit in the halls?
There are paper lanterns that hang in the hallways. Yeah.
Can I grab one of those or no?
Yeah, you could reach up and like, well, there's like they hang them up with poles. So I think that if you stop there, you could find like one of the.
No, we just make way toward the pages room.
They're pretty big. They're big spheres. They're like a dim light.
Sure.
Okay, so as you turn to make your way down the hallway, you pass by a one of the rooms to the side whose door is like ajar slightly. You register it, obviously you notice it, but as you go past Zafira, you hear the same like sudden hiss as the thing like just pours out of the room and surrounds you. So it just like leaps onto you, and
Oh my God, this thing's a mess.
let's see. Okay, you managed to like, get your arms up, and it leaves its like marks on the skin of your arms, and you can see your armor like growing frost, but it doesn't manage to hit you. And the thing is just like pouring out of this dark room and like swirling around Zafira.
Yeah. I'm just going, burn!
All right.
Yeah, what's everybody gonna do?
I am going to cast Guiding Bolt at it.
Okay. All right, go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. So you got 14. So you hit the thing.
For
Oh, baby.
oh,
Oh my God!
21 damage.
Let's go.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, so suddenly the hallway just like erupts in light as Baron's guiding bolt leaps from your holy symbol, crashes into the thing that's swirling around Zephyra, and it like dust in the wind, it like blows away, and you see on the ground, like lying in front of Zephyra, it like clatters to the ground, a little like peach pit looking object. It's like a charcoalized, like burned, like like a peach pit, basically. It just like clunk hits the ground in front of Zephyra.
This is I've seen this before. That was in the page's mouth.
It was in the mouth.
It was in the mouth. It grew a golden flower, and then the smoke appeared after that. I know I sound crazy right now, but
So we
believe me.
destroy it. You want me to try hit it with fire?
Wait, after what I just saw, I believe anything you say right now.
Do we wish to keep this and study it?
Don't touch it with your hands, but do you have something? Let's put it in something and see if we can take it with us. Figure out what it is.
Okay, we pick it up. We grab garb. I walk in the room and like rip something from the bed sheets maybe and put it in there.
Okay,
Right,
in this
we've
room,
captured a nice smoke monster as a pet.
this room is where are you going? This is the pages room.
Whatever.
Because you're in the hallway right now.
I thought he came out of a room. I thought the thing.
Oh,
would
he
just
did.
go-
Yeah, you want to go into that room?
Yeah, and grab some. Is there beds or anything that I can rip fabric of anything?
So you burst into the room. There's a dead body lying on the bed. Its blood frozen onto the bed and dripping onto the floor. There's like sheets on the bed. There's a
Does it still have
tapestry
its
on the
head?
bed. Yeah.
I go over and remove its head.
Okay, so just like, and it takes a couple of swings, so you got to chop through like frozen.
I remove its head and
flesh.
turn and say, "I am not taking any chances tonight." And I rip some fabric off and put the little.
Dead like this. We should do the same.
Yes, that is why we are making our way to its page. That is the origin of all of this. I believe it has something to do with everything. Then we put the little bulb inside and start walking towards or continue like in hustle towards the pages room.
Sure. Okay. All right. So you make your way towards the pages garden, and you come to the door, which is like broken now. It's hanging off one hinge. Someone slammed into it real hard, and you hear inside, even in the hallway, you can hear like a faint, like kind of hissing, rasping sound. There's like a noise coming from the garden.
That we're in, or that we're about to walk into?
No, that you're about to walk into.
Okay. I say the noise is very similar. Be on your guard. I walk forward with shield and sword drawn.
Already my spells.
Okay. So
I will Velimir.
I will Velimir. So you step out, and we see the archway of the door open, and in the room, it's the same garden as before, but the crane, like Huron, is just lying like dead on the ground. All of the fish are floating on the surface of the pond.
Sure they are.
All of the garden plants have like withered and shriveled up, and the page's body is lying, like kind of cruciform on the bed, but their chest has been broken open from the inside, so their ribs are spread open like the petals of a flower, and where their organs would be, this like crimson lotus has unfolded, and from its seed pod, this faint like black mist is sort of pouring into the room, and the mist is sort of swirling around the body, and you can see several pairs of reddish eyes in this kind of like swirling mist that's coming up from the page's corpse. And maybe that's a good place to stop for today. Do we think?
We're 22 minutes from an hour. If you
You want to do it? Okay. All right. So there's this swirling sort of smoke thing. And what do you want to do?
How close am I to the center, to the corpse? To the thing that's spewing smoke?
From where you are, I would say about 50 feet.
I want to throw my hand axe at the fucking thing that's swirling to try to like break it.
Okay. All right. So like throw an axe in that direction. Go for
Shoot
it.
fire at this fucker.
Please hit.
Oh no.
That's
So
a
you
one at the worst time.
You fling the axe. It tumbles into the swirling cloud and is just tossed aside. You hear it splash into the
Lost your
pond.
hand axe, yeah?
Yeah, I lost one at the Cobalt Cave anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Let's roll initiative. I
Jeez.
feel like that's important. So just go ahead and roll it, and I'll add everybody manually because we're not using the map for this one.
I can just roll it and don't.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and roll it, and I'll add you manually.
Oh God.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and so Zafira, that you started the round with your attack.
Rolling. 8 before. I have a fucking 4.
Hey, you rolled a 6.
It's cool. I only got a 6. So
Velomir's fucked.
Velimir, you got 4, and
Hey, guess what, Velimir? Fuck you, Shadow Beast. I got 1 more point of AC. Deal with that shit.
Okay, so Zafira, you threw your hand axe. What are you gonna do now? You get like the immediate start of the turn. Again, you're about 50 feet away from these things swirling up out of its body.
You said those lanterns, was there fire in the lanterns? Like, were they on?
Yeah, they're like it's like a candle or like a little oil lantern sitting inside a big round paper globe, and the globe diffracts the light and spreads it around.
I want to grab one of those things and throw it at that. I want to throw fire, like basically hoping that the oil inside will ignite more so on the candle itself when it hits something and then just burst into fire.
Sure. Yeah. So you can treat it as a
bomb of sort.
Yeah, a little fire bomb. So
bomb,
yeah, okay. Yeah, basically just like a flask of oil, like we did before. So yeah, go ahead and I don't think you have to roll. You can grab the thing, move back, and then hurl it at one of the things. So it's an improvised roll. Yeah, it's an improvised weapon. It'll definitely break. It's basically like just an attack roll on
roll my dex?
The nearest thing.
Because ranged attack is dex, so I'm just gonna roll my dex.
And you're not proficient in it, so yeah, dexterity is fine.
14.
Okay. Yep. So you throw the thing of fire into the cloud, trying to hit one of these shadows, and the flask of oil breaks and splashes fire around, and it does 1d4 fire damage. So go ahead and roll that.
1.
Okay.
Does it catch on fire though? The goal was to hit the body that was spewing this stuff, or the flower that was spewing this stuff?
Yeah, no, the cloud of shadow around it seems to be protecting the body, the shadow that's coming out and spilling around it. You hit one of the shadows as it flies by, but the oil seems to just like drip off of it and splatter on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now 3 of the shadows peel off from the cloud and
wait, how is an 8 higher than 6?
Fly towards you. They're on their way. Baron can go before they get here.
Oh, okay.
Baron, what do you want to do? You can see them like now they've got you've entered the room. Zafira has their attention. They're going to start to peel away and like fly towards you.
I'm going to move within 30 feet of them and cast Turn Undead.
Okay. All right. Let's see how ye old Turn Undead works.
Do you have the spell, Dan, to where you can just click it? So we can read it?
Dan, do you have
it's a class ability, so it won't show up as
it won't show.
Spell. But I do have it here. Turn Undead. Okay, so as an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censoring the undead. Each undead that can see or hear you makes a wisdom save, and if it fails, it's turned for a minute and must spend its turn trying to move as far away from you as it can.
Actually, that might be good.
It can't move within 30 feet of you. If there's nowhere to go, it has to dodge. So, cool. So your DC is 13, I think, for these things.
I think so.
The
that's
DC,
what it was for Sacred Flame, was 13.
Okay. All right, so I'll make 3 saves and see if you can turn them. So first one. And the second one, I got a 3 on the first roll, a 3 on the second roll.
Give me 3 threes.
And a 2.
A 2.
Oh yes, Baron. So you haven't turned undead before, and I know this is a very personal thing for Baron. What does that look like? These swirling shadows start to like fly towards you.
Normally, I'm very calm, but when it comes to undead, you can see a rage in my face, and it's a sort of hatred just comes out of me at these things, and just this holy light that when living people look at it, they feel calm and relaxed, but it has the opposite effect on the undead, and they feel nothing but terror. And then it radiates from me out to them.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. The scale of like calm and rage tips and and you unleash your anger. So the shadows have to. Let me double check the wording.
Yeah,
of
what's
this. They
the
have to move
mechanical effect of that?
Yeah, so it has to spend its turn moving as far away from you as it can. So you can drive them back towards the other end of the garden. It can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. So you can keep them held at bay for 1 minute. So you step forward, conjure up the light, and they flying towards you. They realize like when the light emerges from your holy symbol, they kind of turn away.
Some Patronus shit right
Yeah,
here.
and
for you,
fly
man.
back. Exactly. Yeah, they fly back and continue like swirling around the crimson, the lotus that's emerged.
Dan,
from the
what is
body.
your Patronus? What sign is it?
It's a big scale. Velimir, what do you want to do?
What just happened? These fucking shadow things are just like
It was running away. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I attack the source, which is the body with the lotus flower, right? Makes sense to me.
That's what
yeah,
I've
you
been
can.
trying
Like,
to do.
it seems like it's got some kind of like shield around it, but you can certainly.
Yeah, I mean, you saw me throw the lantern and it hit, and then kind of like dripped off the side and didn't do anything.
Didn't you also roll really low, though?
I
Didn't
rolled
you?
a 1 on damage. I hit it though.
Yeah. So the shadows. You threw oil at them, right? Like fiery oil, isn't that what you did?
Yeah, I threw
Looks
like
like
an
it's
oil
right
lantern.
Yeah,
Well,
hit
lantern,
one for
okay.
like 1 damage.
So the shadow things are still in this room. They're just kind of trying
They're
to
afraid of us right now, basically.
Yeah, they're just flying around us.
They're afraid of
me specifically.
Baron. Yeah, so long as he continues to turn them.
Okay, so either attack the source, even though that has a shield, or we can try to do damage on the shadow things. I guess I'll target. I'm gonna target the source just to see if it's still a shielded or whatever. Okay, I guess I'll just use a light crossbow. No, I'm gonna use I'm gonna multiple or dual wield and see if it takes any damage because it's
Okay.
a physical object.
So you wanna like run up to it and try to attack?
Well, where's my position? Well, there's no map. Right?
You're about 50 feet away. There's 50 feet between you and the
Okay, never
and the
mind, fuck
door.
that shit. I'm not gonna get close. I'm gonna shoot a crossbow at the lotus flower thing.
Okay, sure. Yeah, make an attack roll.
I didn't realize I wasn't that close yet. Let's fucking go. All right, let's leave.
He
So you
rolled a
fire.
1 plus 4.
You fire into the shadowy cloud, and the cloud catches the coral, spins it around, and flings it across the room. It embeds in a wall. Zafira,
We did good.
Zafira, what do you want to do?
I need to move up to the body. Like, can I get to the body in 1 round?
If all you do is run, because
Okay.
it's 50 feet, right?
I fucking grab another lantern. I just like grab a lantern in the hall and chuck it at it once again.
Okay, sure. It's the same thing. Dexterity roll.
Yeah.
As long as you're within 30 feet of me, they can't come up to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're throwing the oil where now?
I'm throwing it on the flower again
Okay, sure.
because it seems to be doing something. 8. Fuck, man, our rolls.
Yeah, so you hurl it and it smashes on the outside of this sort of like bubble, and flings the burning oil onto the ground. I think let me throw all this hot oil around. Okay, yeah. So the oil gets caught up in the little like swirling shadow, and drops of burning oil, like scalding oil, get flung into the garden, and some of the desiccated plants light on fire. So there's a small, but it won't be for
Fucking
long.
things are getting turned. Things are getting lit. It's fucking a party up in here.
That's right. The undead got turned, and now it's lit. So yeah, a fire starts to like burn in one corner of the garden. Baron, what would you like to do?
First, I'm going to instruct Velimir and Zafira to stay near me because they can't come near me. And I'm going to move as close to the body as I can. How far away from it am I?
50 feet. No, you moved in 30 feet, so you are 20 feet away from it now.
So I'll move the rest of the way up to the body. And what do I see when looking at it?
So it's a dead body. To start, it's the page's dead body. Their jaw appears to be broken. There's some like strange like plant matter like still in their mouth, and their rib cage is broken open. There doesn't appear to be the blood isn't like around because it's all kind of frozen to the body, and there's this big red like blood colored lotus flower from which spores and shadow are pouring.
All right.
And as you approach, the spores are like swirling around and kind of like battering at your face while this is happening.
Okay. And there are only 3 shadow enemies in the room currently that are away from me.
Yeah, they're kind of like driven into the back of the room.
And like this thing is still spewing out stuff. Like the body in front of me still like seems
Yeah. There's this like heavy smoke coming out of it, kind of like black dry ice smoke.
All right, I'm going to try to cast Sacred Flame at the Lotus.
Okay, sure.
Not bad damage.
8.
Okay.
8 radiant.
Sure. So it's got to make a save. It's not. So you do damage to the shadow like barrier. So how much was it? 8, you said?
8
Yes.
radiant.
Okay. So radiant damage, that's enough to break the barrier. And yeah, you conjure up this light and thrust it into the swirling shadow, and the shadow kind of like spins apart, like the dust kind of flies all over the place, and little motes of darkness kind of like flutter to the ground. And you can see now with the obscurity out of the way, the lotus, the leaves, the petals that peeled away, they're of a very particular thick kind of tissue. And the lotus is made of a swollen version of the page's heart. So it's like the heart is peeled open and it's throbbing underneath. It no longer has the barrier swirling around it, but you can see right into its like dark kind of ventricles that are pumping the shadow out.
Right. And I'll say to Saphira, stab the heart. And then as in my turn.
Okay.
The hatches are open.
So the shadows are still repelled by Baron, but the closer you get to the middle of the room, the more they're going to be able to slip around the outside.
Yeah.
And I think actually at this point they leave the Lotus alone. They're like they're going to flee from Baron, and they like slip out of the windows and like disappear into the rest of the castle. So they like vanish through cracks in the walls and stuff and disappear. And now there's just this like throbbing heart lotus.
You hate to see the throbbing heart lotus. It's the
Vel-
worst.
Yeah.
Velamir, what do you want to do? There's
Well-
also a fire that is starting to spread.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. So that room is starting to become consumed with fire.
Yeah, it will be soon. You can see the fire is spreading through the garden.
How far away is it?
It's not far because it's probably like to one side, maybe off to your left.
Well, I'm asking because I have cutting action, so I can move and
You could
attack.
get to it.
There,
You-
attack,
Yeah,
and
you
do-
can dash. Yeah. Cunning action allows you to dash his
Sure,
own.
to get it. Well, I'm asking. I can get in there, attack it, get out.
yeah, you want to move up and stab the heart,
Yeah,
and then
try
use
to-
your bonus action to move away.
Yeah. And dual wielding attack.
Okay.
And I'm assuming sneak attack doesn't really.
Oh,
it's
you
not-
can't dual wield and still do because the other attack is a bonus action.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So you
yeah,
can make
sure.
one attack and then move.
I will just use the short sword then.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what we got.
21.
21.
Okay, sure.
All right. And
Roll your damage.
8.
8.
Okay. All right. So cool. Yeah, you stab the thing, and because it's made of like heart muscle, it doesn't like part easily. You jam the sword in, it's quite tough. You do pierce it though. You do jam your sword in, and yeah, black blood like gushes up around the edges of your sword. The thing continues to throb, and like the page's heart, it's beating like quickly, like like I said, a rabbit or a hummingbird.
Yeah. After I attack it, I just back off, a number of feet back, like, I don't know, like 15, 20 feet.
Okay. Zafira, what do you want to do?
In case any sort of gross exploding happens.
I can't get to it and attack, right? I'm too far away. My understanding is that I'm too far away. Yeah, I'm gonna dash up to it, and that's my round.
Okay.
I dash towards the center of the room.
Sure. Okay. Baron?
All right. I will cast Sacred Flame at the heart.
Okay. Sounds good.
Another 8
For
damage.
8 radiant damage.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
So because it can't like dodge, right? It has disadvantage on these attacks. So you do still hit it. So you conjure up this fire and you burn the thing. And how much damage you deal? 8, you said?
8.
8 radiant.
Okay.
Just picture the heart like doing like a little dash.
Yeah, I was like, how is Adam gonna make it so it fucking dodges this shit?
No. Yeah, so you hit it and it's it's like writhing and moving and stuff. It's got little like lashy like tendrils that are kind of like up in his ribcage that are like flailing around. But it doesn't it doesn't die. It's burned by holy light. But it's not quite destroyed yet. Okay. So the shadows are elsewhere, terrorizing the castle. Velimir, what do you want to do?
Same thing.
Shoot
Get
her.
in there, attack, and
Or stab
attack
her.
out in case it explodes. Let's go.
Nice.
3.
Fuck yeah. Roll some damage. Yeah, well.
Okay.
Does it gets sneak attack though, right? Because I'm there.
Yeah, you can't really sneak attack a thing that
That's
like
what I'm asking. It's like it's not like
You're just
Mechanically,
doing-
it makes no sense. But
you're just doing your regular damage.
all right.
Since you're close enough, you should be able to dual wield attack as well.
Yes, you can also make another attack if you want to.
sure. All right, let's do it. Dagger coming in hot with that sick ass fucking 5. Love it. Rolled a 1.
So you stab it, but it's too resilient. It's too tough.
Damn heart muscles.
Zafira?
I'm gonna join in the stabbing of the heart.
Okay.
I pull out the scimitar and like flip it around, and with both hands like drive it into the heart.
Okay.
13
Yep.
for 5 damage.
All right, that's enough to do it. So, you plunge your sword into the core piece of the lotus, and tear the sword down, and it rips open. The petals fall limp, and just like a gush of blood like pours out onto the floor in front of you. And it seems like the blood is all being just pulled out of the page's body all at once. They like shrivel like instantly. All their skin and muscle being drained of fluid as this blood just gushes onto the floor, and then the body goes limp, and the cursed flower kind of just like falls.
So is there like kind of like a stillness in the room right now?
Aside from the fire, aside from the fact that most of the room is on fire, definitely there is a
I
stillness.
just look at the others and I'm like, it's safe to say I think the page is dead.
Yeah, I'm already like retracting my scimitar and walking out of the room, or running out of the room at that point.
He's only half the man he used to be.
You can hear like screaming elsewhere in the castle. Like those undead, when they left, they didn't just like go home.
Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point then, is us.
Okay. Yeah, so we see the three of you, Zafira covered in blood, Velimir also covered in blood, Baron glowing with Temperance's light, lit by the burning of the garden, with the body of the page nearby, and you hear like a scream in the distance, and everyone turns, kind of ready to leap into action. And that's,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do some shout outs. Call it a show. Dan, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Dan, DansGaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, everything. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I'm going to start be Mafia tomorrow. If you guys are curious about seeing the story of Mafia before Mafia 3 comes out in October. Thank you to JP, Gassy, and Adam for another awesome show with lots of great RPing happen today. And can't wait to do it again on Tuesday.
There you go. Max, do some shout outs, sir.
I'm Max or GassyMexican, Twitch streamer or YouTuber. Pretty much goes by GassyMexican on everything. I will be streaming in a few hours, in about 2 hours, I believe, for Fucked Up Friday. with some guests, myself, Diction. I believe the guests today are McLoken, and I'm Cody, if I remember Nick saying correctly. The show we drink, play games, a bunch of party games, and have a good time. So if you guys want to tune in for that, awesome. Other than that, catch my YouTube stuff. And yeah, good session. Thanks again, Adam. Really, really fun. Crazy beasts and fucking cliffhanger, man. Who knows what's going to happen? Excited for this coming Tuesday.
There you go. Adam, some shout outs?
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody. I enjoyed today's session as well. Ended on a bloody note. I'm really curious to see what happens next. And hopefully we won't have to wait too long because we got another episode soon. Also, I have 2 more role play shows. So if you want to see me GM and play some more, you can stick around here. We got one tomorrow. We're doing our one shot of Breakers. And then we have we got some Star Wars action coming at you. We're going to return to the light side. So you can find that here in the interim. And otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at skinnyghost. And I stream at twitch.tv/AdamCoble.
All right. That'll do it for the episode. We're going to go record the post-episode talk. If you want to watch that, you can do so over at patreon.com/roleplay for a single $1, as well as all the other behind-the-scenes videos that have been done thus far. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks, everyone, for watching. That was a crazy episode and not the ways that I thought it was going to be. So that's always fun.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time as we return to our normal show on Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.